Hey, I am DZ.
And I'm Kiana.
And you are in the Flood Zone.
So today we're talking about productivity and time management.
Productivity, that's how I see it. Productivity. And it's still doing the same thing.
It won't let us be great.
And another one. And another one.
And the switcher.
Keep going.
Still going.
All right.
Okay.
All right. So anyway, let's keep going. Hey, so we're talking about productivity.
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 No, it's productivity.
Okay. However you want to say it. It's getting things done.
Getting them done in a timely manner.
In a timely manner. And this is one thing that a lot of businesses kind of get a D on. What? Is making sure that, hey, you get your stuff in on time and you get it out on time.
Right. I know that became a really big issue during the pandemic. Well, are we still in the pandemic?
Of course.
It's like in the pandemic-ish.
Are we in the tail end of the pandemic?
It's a pandemic.
I don't know, but we still have issues with getting products because of supply and demand and what's available, and is there enough people working to get whatever they need to get done so I can get my packages
what they got to do
order.
with us? I mean, we need our stuff.
We need it.
Anyway.
But nobody... Well, I mean, but people have started to be really understanding with us not being able to get stuff.
Yeah, for right now. But then after a while, people get a little bit impatient. And you know how y'all people is. That's right. I'm talking to you.
So, one of the ways that you can work on your time management skills is with creating to-do lists.
Yes.
It's something simple that you can do. All you need is a sheet of paper. You don't need a special app. Although they do have lots of apps and things that you can put on your phone for to-do lists. But I mean, if you can get as simple as creating a list, numbering it 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and putting in those items that you need to get done.
Because that's very important. Because the thing is, especially when you are producing a product, there's steps in to produce that product. So, and if you don't know what
Do you
product...
understand the words that are coming out of my mouth?
Go ahead.
If you don't have the steps and the order it needs to be in, then you won't get the product when it's due.
Right. And that could be a bad thing for you, for business, because then people are like, oh, you can't count on them to have what you need and when you need it. So, you don't want people to start saying that about your stuff. But basically on that to-do list, you're going to put in the whatever is most important, 1, 2, 3, 4.
Yes.
Like for us, if we have a lot of small jobs, I like to knock those out because they don't take as much time. So I'll put them in slots 1, 2, and 3. And then if we have a larger, bigger job, I'll put that, say 4, 5, 6, and let it take up 3 different slots. Just so that we can have a little extra time in case something happens or if there's an emergency. Not emergency, but never, all jobs don't go smoothly. So you always have some sort of hiccup. Next, and I think that for a really simple way to keep track, a to-do list is something good to use.
Why you keep looking at me?
Cause I'm talking to you, and
Well, you talking to the people. Talk to the people.
Whatever.
The people need to hear you.
All right, next, automations.
Now, yeah, you're gonna have to talk about that.
Automations.
That's something
Automations are, for me, it's repetitive jobs that I don't like to do or I don't want to do constantly. Like if someone sends in a request for us to place an order for t-shirts, I always say, hey, can you go to our website and click on get a quote? That way, for us, it puts them in the system. So they fill out that form, it puts them in our system, then I'll get a notification that says, hey, such and such needs a quote. And it also helps me to get more information beforehand. So, and it also eliminates me having to sit on the phone for 10 or 15 minutes to ask the same questions that the form is asking, without, taking up time that I could be doing something else.
And so that's the luxury of having a website and having things that you can just go click to, and then as you click on it, then basically you can get all the information in a timely manner and exactly when you want it. But what happens when people don't have a website or they don't have automations?
So if you don't have automations pretty much is, like I said earlier, it's the jobs and tasks that you don't want to continuously do. It could be something as simple as if someone sends you an email requesting something, it's an automated email that goes back and says, hey, we received your email and someone will be back to you shortly. Or automations is if they call your phone number and you have a couple of different departments that they can reach out to, they select whichever number, 1, 2, or 3, and it will take them directly to that department and get the person that they need. So basically, you don't have to have someone answering the phone and saying, okay, hold on, let me transfer you. The system will do it for you.
So if you're a one-man band
2 ringy dingies.
and you need to have some help in certain areas because you're doing other things, then there are other ways to automate your responses, especially through social media and websites.
Or another automation that you see a lot is, say if you're on social media and you send a direct message to a company or a business, a lot of times something will pop up and say, hey, they ask you a little bit more about whatever it is that you're saying on there. A lot of times that's not a person, that is the software looking at what it is you've typed and then going from there and kind of taking cues off of the words that you put in there to try to answer it. Sometimes it gets it right, sometimes it doesn't.
And I look at it like this. Even when we're a small business, but even when we were doing 1 or 2 jobs, I looked at our business as a corporation. And you got to treat it like that, right? Because, I mean, if you're inspired to be a 50-plus employee business, you're going to have to, even when you only got one person or it's just by you by yourself, you have to look at it in the eyes of, hey, I need to learn how to automate this so when I do get help or when I do hire somebody or if I can get somebody part-time, they will know what to do, when to do it. And that's when your SOPs come into play.
Punctuality is something I demand from my employees. I need them to show up on time.
And
so when I finally show up,
SOPs could be its own episode on just your standard operation procedures.
And those are things that's already mapped out. If Joe Blow come off the street saying, hey, I want a job, you can give him your SOP, your standard operations and procedures, and they will know what to follow, how to do what you got done right there in front of them, and they can follow the steps and you can get exactly what you need out of them. Instead of what we've done before is just say, come help us. And then
You still coming from?
we don't
really have a plan for it. You don't really have anything laid out, because what we found is if you have it lined out, what that job entitles and what it is that you're supposed to do, or what they're supposed to do, it helps that they flow a little bit easier, and they don't feel like out in the middle of the ocean with no paddle.
Right. You think about yourself, if somebody just told you to come help me service cars, and they didn't have anything lined up for you to do, you're going to have to ask them 1,000 questions. They're going to have to stop what they're doing to come help you. And then the productivity, tomato, it stops, because now they got to stop to do from what they were doing to help you, and then they end up doing the whole job anyway. And now you look like, okay, well, I didn't really help, and they still pay me.
Right. So
no one would make that connection.
Another way to help automate your business is social media posts and things like that.
Yes.
Now there are apps and programs that you can schedule out a whole month in advance, or how many ever months in advance, for all your social media posts, and it will post it automatically for you.
Right.
Now, even with that, the automations are really good, but you still want to have some sort of connection with the audience that you're trying to reach. So maybe you go in to into the chats and to the messages and comments and things like that, and reply to those things, just so that someone knows that it's not just a service that's putting this out there and nobody's there to man it.
Right.
You know, people want to see that they're actually connecting with someone else.
Hello, is it me you're looking for?
You know, the worst thing you can have for a business is somebody call and they feel like they can't get in touch or can't get a response. That can kill your business.
Kill it.
But anyway, so productivity. What else?
We did
Time-
prioritizing tasks and
Prioritizing
management.
time management, all that good stuff. It helps your business, help you flourish, and it keeps your name good.
Yep. I think the last one we'll talk about is taking breaks. So taking breaks is really important. And sometimes as a small business owner, knowing how to do that and when to do that is something that you struggle with. I know we do. We finally had to say, you know what? Certain days, this is when we're going to take a break, and we're not going to do anything.
And it's
On that
hard
time.
because I know I was a little self-testimony.
Oh, testimonial.
Yeah, testimony. At first, taking a break for me was like, okay, there's going to be, I used to get a little anxious because I'm like, there's going to be somebody coming in with a $5,000 job, and they're going to be coming in and the door's going to be closed, or we're going to be shut down for that day and we're going to miss that business. And that was the main thing that would keep me just up and jittery, because it's like, we should stay up almost 24/7 because
Right. And I was like, yo, bro, no. Even us taking a 30 or 45 minutes lunch break, that is important. I know in DZ, he still struggles with taking a lunch
I struggle.
break. I don't know
struggle.
why, but
I mean-
I'm like, you know what? And even with the break, it's like, you know what? We need to leave the shop and go eat lunch, whether it be go back to the house and eat or go out and eat somewhere other than being here, because I feel like you have to, step away from what you're doing every once in a while. And for us, I think that should be every lunchtime, because it helps you clear your mind and be ready for the second half of whatever it is you're going to do.
And that's a great point, because sometimes, even not just for lunchtime, but when you are making mistakes after mistakes, and that will happen, to where it seems like from 8 o'clock when you come in to 5 o'clock, it's like a mistake after mistake after mistake. So what you need to do is take a break. Or sometimes what we do here is that, if we done messed up 20 shirts, one record, that's money, and you done messed them up, and what we do is say, okay, we need to leave. We need to go. We need to come back tomorrow and try to get this done, because if we do this right now, we're going to keep making mistakes and getting frustrated. And then the next thing you know, you're in the hole, because why? You don't waste it.
You don't waste the time.
Money,
Materials.
and materials, everything. It's painful. It's painful, y'all. But,
Yeah.
But that's part of being a business owner, So you have to kind of just balance it. You got to stay afloat in the flood. Guess what, y'all? You've been in the flood zone.